The Phantom of the Opera เรื่องจะเป็นไงนั้นไปติดตามชมกันต่อเลยครับ
Well, I was finishing up Love Never Dies about 6 months ago, and I was walking around Centennial Park in Sydney, and I got the call from my agent telling me that I'd got the role, and my mum and sister just burst into tears. and then I called my dad, who's actually based in Kuala Lumpur. I tricked him and I said, oh, I didn't get the part. They gave it to somebody else. And he said, oh, well, maybe next time. I was like, just kidding, I got it. And he screamed down the phone. So it was just the most incredible feeling. And this is my first lead role. I don't know if you'd agree, the first time you found out you were doing Phantom. It's just, yeah, absolutely incredible.
I love every minute of it. Even the times when I'm tired and exhausted, and I'll get behind, I start my show behind the mirror. When I hear that music from behind the mirror, it just still excites you. And to know you're doing something that has been your childhood dream, it still fires you up, even if you're completely exhausted. And there are very few men who have played the Phantom considerably, considering how old the show is. And if you really look at roles that have been played, I would have to say the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera, most men have played this role longer than any other role because it's so much fun to play.
And you've played it how many times? Over 2,000?
I've done over two. There are two different. I've got either 2,200. Somebody even said 2,400. It still doesn't get boring, and Claire and I have kind of made a vow to each other to just keep it fresh and keep it going and
comfortable.
Get comfortable. They challenge each other, and that's fun. That's fun to do. I mean, we have the parameters that we have to stay within, the lighting and everything. The words, we can't change the words, we can't change the notes. But there's the intents, there's the timing and that kind of stuff, and that's actually a lot of fun when you have somebody that you trust on stage to do it with. It's a lot of fun.
I think the main thing about Phantom is that, and any successful musical, is that it touches people's hearts. I like to call Phantom of the Opera the Rolls Royce of musicals. To fall into something like that at such an easy process, it was almost meant to be. And I don't really know where to go from here. I mean, the only role I can really play next is Phantom because there's nothing else. Well, I'm sure there is, but Phantom of the Opera is the most coveted musical to be in. It's a fairy tale musical, but it's still real. The emotions and everything that's felt is still very, very real. You leave the theatre after watching it, and you can say to yourself, I've actually experienced a lot of the things that the Phantom or Raoul or Christine have experienced. I mean, Christine also has a father that's died, and I'm sure we've all experienced in some sort of hardship like that in our life before. It really is. It's a real musical in a fairy tale environment, and I think that blend works very well. And here I am, experiencing it.
If the Phantom is coming to a city, it's almost like the city has won the World Cup. And it changes them. The city has changed. The talk of the city has changed. It is the most famous musical ever written. Flat out. The most successful. I'll never forget. Talk about an impact. Shanghai, for the first time. Finances back in 2004 in Shanghai were tough. And people would spend over a month's salary to buy a ticket, a single ticket, just to see Phantom of the Opera. And then they would go to the lobby and just buy a key ring, small key ring, because that's what they could afford. And they wanted the biggest plastic bag that had the mask on it, because that's what they really wanted. and they would walk around town. They would walk around Shanghai with that bag of the pride that they saw Phantom of the Opera.
The best part of the show, the bows at the end, and then seeing people at stage door who've seen the show for the first time. Some people will be crying, shaking, screaming, and we might be there for an hour after, you know, the company bus has left, and signing autographs, but that's what makes me feel the best. Getting to meet the fans afterwards and sharing the experience with them. Yeah, it's incredible. It's amazing.
It really is. It really is.
นี่ก็คือความภาคภูมิใจของนักแสดง